Hello, I heard we're the last panel, so we're going to bring some excitement to the room, make sure everyone's awake. I just want to thank the forum for really this year having a FinTech symposium. As many of you who are working in financial inclusion and financial services, whether that's economic development, nonprofits, or companies know, FinTech has touched you. Technology is changing the way that we are doing business. And so today we have two of some of the leaders in FinTech today with us. And so we're going to start off by hearing a little bit about what you're doing and why you're doing it, more importantly. So if you can start us off with about your mission and why you started your companies, we'll take it from there.
Well, thank you, Ramona. Thank you, all of you, for being here. It's always dangerous when you're between somebody and their dinner, but this is really important, and this is ultimately why all of us are here today at this important gathering. We started Aspiration about 4 years ago to be a financial firm with a conscience, to bring socially conscious, sustainable retail banking products to everyday people. Now, sometimes those words don't necessarily all fit together traditionally, but ultimately what we're doing is building trust in an industry that, let's face it, has massive amount of distrust, often for some very good reasons. You have a fundamental breakdown in traditional banking between people and their financial institution, because people understand that oftentimes it's the worst that they're doing means the bank is doing better. That the bank makes money when there's an overdraft fee, when there's a late fee, when you're stuck with an out-of-network ATM fee and paying $4 to get your $20 out, when you're not meeting your monthly minimums and so having to pay that monthly service fee. Those are the times that you're feeling the greatest stress in your life, and yet those are the times that the bank is doing best. And so there's that mismatch, and there's also a mismatch around values. So many of us today make our daily spending decisions based on values and ethics and morals, and think about those kinds of factors. And yet, if you're putting your deposits with one of the big banks, no matter what else you're doing in your life, it means your own dollars are going to be supporting and being lent to and funding oil and gas pipelines, big gun manufacturers, and so on, things that you may not be excited about. And so people want a financial institution that shares their values and that shares their interests. That's what we did with Aspiration. And so just very quickly, our main product is our Aspiration Spend and Save account. Offers an interest rate that's 200 times higher than what you're getting from a big bank, cashback rewards on your debit card, fossil fuel-free deposits, extra rewards for spending at businesses with a conscience. We'll show you your personal impact score and the different score of the places you're shopping. So you can say, I'm going to go to McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, based not just on whether I want a Big Mac or a burrito or a Whopper, but how is that company treating its employees? How are they treating the environment? And make those kinds of daily spending decisions with conscience in mind while having more money in your pocket. Our motto is do well and do good. I think that's what most people want, and that's certainly why we're seeing literally hundreds of thousands of people join Aspiration every month.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for having us. My name is Chris, founder and CEO of Grove. But I'll tell you a little bit about how I ended up here and the problem I faced before I get into the company, which was, I'm in my mid-30s. I started talking to people late 20s that were just all kinds of confused. People got to this point in life where they were responsible for things beyond just themselves. They got engaged, or they got married, they maybe started a family, or maybe they bought their first home, and all of a sudden they were just faced with all of these different financial acronyms, accounts, responsibilities. Is it a 401k or a 529? Everyone didn't know what to do, and so me being the super nerdy person that all my friends come to for financial advice said, what do I do? And I thought, oh, you should get a financial advisor because I have a job and I can't help you all day. And so I thought financial advisor seems like something that should exist and be common, and I learned a few facts that were pretty shocking. So 9 out of 10 financial advisors in the US are not what's called a sole fiduciary, meaning they're not required at all times to act in your best interest. And it blew my mind. I thought, wow, imagine if you went to a doctor and your doctor didn't have to actually help you in the way that was best for you and could just tell you something else because a drug manufacturer told them to. I hope that's not actually true, though someone earlier today mentioned that maybe it is. And so I started digging and digging. I was like, wow, where are the good financial advisors? The ones that aren't selling these high-fee mutual funds, that aren't trying to sell you a life insurance policy you don't need. And the answer was, they're here. They just wait till you have $1 million to work with you. And it was really disappointing to find that I couldn't send anyone I knew to a product, and I wanted to understand why. And so I spent a lot of time working with financial advisors. I became a financial advisor before I even started the company to try to learn more, and found that everything gets lost in paperwork and old school, no technology, everything done with printout papers and putting papers in binders, and it was a mess. And so I looked, the average financial advisor spends 80% of their time not working with their clients. And I thought, how do we get rid of that 80%? So we decided to build a team to build our own software to be able to bring kind of comprehensive, holistic financial planning where we can actually pair someone with a certified financial planner who will always be acting in your best interest and help you think through how to make changes in your life that line up with your goals. And so we think empathy and human relationships are part of finances and part of financial advice. And so we leverage technology to make that not cost tens of thousands of dollars a year or thousands of dollars a year, but hundreds of dollars a year.
That's great. And much like you, Chris, I actually started My Money, My Future to provide personal financial advice in a culturally relevant way. I looked around and I said, where are the financial advisors that understand my community? And so our mission is to close the racial wealth gap, and we've chosen technology as the method to do that, to scale. And so I want to hear a little bit about how you use technology in particular, because it is transforming everything, but how are you using it in your company to scale or to grow or to reach an audience that hasn't been reached before?
No, technology is so important in making the work that all of us on this stage are doing, and so many of the people here today are doing possible. Somebody said to me the other day, a lot of these companies came up after 2008 and after the financial meltdown. And I said, that's true, but in some ways what was an even bigger driver was 2007, and that's when the iPhone was launched. And what that meant was that you had power in your pocket to make a decision. I'll ask a question here to the audience. Who here, at least let's say those of us who are 35 and over, who here ended up with their current bank account because at the time that they first opened that account, that was the branch that was closest to them? Who opened up that account because that was the branch closest to them? As I look around, most of the hands up in the room. That's how you used to open accounts. Well, now you can open an account at basically any institution in America on your phone. So it's not just going to be on that branch that's closest to you. It's going to be which institution speaks to you, who's part of your community. And that community can take many different forms. It doesn't have to be the local neighborhood branch, maybe it is, but it can be communities like the community that you're talking about, or it can be communities like the ones that are coming around aspiration of people who share a sense of mission and values and purpose. And that means you can also empower people to do what's right. And so that you're not going to replace that local small town banker or that local big city banker even, but you can have technology leverage the power to build relationships. So at Aspiration, I talked about some of the fees that you get at big banks. You don't face any of those at Aspiration. In fact, the only fee you pay is what we call pay what is fair. Customer decides what to pay us. If you want to pay us zero, you can pay us zero. Get treated the same as any other customer. It's up to us to earn the fee. If you think we deserve zero, then we need to be doing a whole lot better of a job for you. And what that means is that the customer's in the driver's seat, and we're building a real deep relationship with that customer. That's only possible because of technology. It's only possible because technology allows that person-to-person decision of that customer to say, I think I'm going to pay you $2, or I'm going to pay you $5, or even I'm going to pay you zero. Technology allows different kinds of business models to come forward. So whether it's that pay what is fair structure, whether it's that aspiration impact measurement that's showing your sustainability score, we're able to take the power of technology and put it into the hands of millions of people. We as Americans spend $36 billion a day as consumers. And if we start doing more and more around making ethical spending decisions and putting conscience first, that is an enormous lever of change. But that's only possible because of the power of technology.
So I spent the 4 years before doing this as an evil venture capitalist. And so when I left, I was like, I don't want to build a technology company that needs to raise money from investors. I think I'm going to build the best financial advisor. I'm going to take advantage of everything that exists. And I started understanding how people get to know their customers. And so I went to go meet with financial advisors, and they started writing down notes in a notebook. And I got this form I remember from Chase that was like just a piece of paper, and it said, here, how much is in your accounts? How much is in your checking account? And I was like, well, my checking account's with you. How do you not know that? And I just realized that the only way that you can make this accessible is if you don't need a human typing up a bunch of information. And I think 10 years ago, Mint first launched the ability to connect your accounts with services, and now there's dozens of companies that make that really easy. And so one of the things we realized was, if we can let you share information with us, we don't have to share it in person. We also don't have to take you out for a dinner that it might feel like you're getting because I like you, but really the old financial advisor is just using your money to buy yourself dinner. And we thought new generations don't care about that. If you go to even younger generations today, there's so much distrust over financial institutions. My favorite stat is that 71% of millennials would rather go to the dentist than to the bank. And so what we did was we said, let's do this online. Let's do it in a way that, as Andre said, trust is so important. We don't make any money from anyone except our customers. That's our revenue source. We don't get paid when we tell you that this is a great financial high yield savings account. We just refer what's best. And so by using technology, we're able to understand information about consumers, share information back about consumers, but to go one step further, understand how their life evolves. So I know when you get that promotion and your salary changes, and can help you think about how you're able to use that extra savings to pay down your student loans, or to start contributing towards your children's education, or even your education, or your future. It's really important to be able to react, and the kind of traditional industry is so analog that they don't know what's happening.
So one of the things that we talk about in FinTech a lot is the unbundling, and many of you probably heard this. Sort of FinTech has unbundled financial services, but in some ways now we've unbundled it so much that I think people are looking for sort of a one-stop shop, a platform. You look at SoFi and others that are big, that are providing financial services and all in one place. What's the future look like? Is it the sort of rebundling, and this is just sort of open conversation, or where do you see financial services sort of in the next 5 years?
I think you are seeing people come together and look for trusted financial products. There's I think probably a small group of people out there who want 35 different apps on their phone, and one app for their renter's insurance, and another app for rolling up their spare change, and something else for their student loans, and something else for mortgage. And most people aren't built that way, thank God. They want a place they can trust, and that's what we've tried to do at Aspiration, which is really to be a place that you can go to as a financial home. And so I mentioned our spend and save account replacing your core checking account, but then we're offering investments and retirement and other products as we go forward. And what we're seeing is when you have that relationship of trust, it opens up all kinds of doors. 75% of our customers who come in have zero wealth building assets, don't own a share of stock, don't have a mutual fund, don't have an ETF, nothing. And in the first year, about 40% of them are going to open our investment fund, which is fossil fuel free, firearm free, investing in companies with really strong environmental diversity, governance practices. I think that's because of trust, because people are looking for that place where they can say, you know what, I can breathe easy. These guys aren't out to get me. They have my back, and I can start doing the things that I need to do for myself and my family.
Yeah, I'd say that the interesting thing is, if no one's told you, it's really hard to build a company. Like, it is a stressful job dealing with so many things. And so, I admire the fact that you're in a position with so many customers, but you're not trying to do everything right now, because I'm certain that if either one of us or any of us started just doing everything we possibly could for our customers and trying to do everything under one sun, we'd never be able to do it all well. And so I think one of the challenges is big banks are trying to do everything in the one-stop shop, but they're not able to do any one thing well. And so one of the things you're seeing with this unbundling effect is you have companies that are focused on one specific thing, and they can do it so much better than everyone else. Now, where does that go? Eventually, I imagine, a large financial institution, or maybe if we're lucky, all these small companies can bundle together and create a better financial institution in the future. But surely they'll come together because there's a lot of value of doing it in one place. But I think it's going to take innovation that happens outside of the large corporations, outside of big companies, to really drive those amazing user experiences, build the best trust with people, and kind of create the kind of financial system of the future.
Okay, we've used the word trust a lot, and I know we're about to close out, but I just wanted to hear really quickly from each of you sort of what is the best way that you found to build trust with your audience?
I think that's a great question. People trust the incumbents, the big banks out there. If they deposit 25 bucks, they think they're going to be able to get 25 bucks back out. But they don't believe that they share their values, and they don't believe they share the same interests. And ultimately, that's what trust is. Trust is that trust fall, right? Like if I fall backwards, are you going to catch me, or are you going to say, I'm going to go over there instead and let you fall? That's ultimately what trust is the belief that literally you have somebody's back. And when you do that, then you win.
I mean, ours was easy. We said, we're going to hold ourselves to this standard where we are legally liable for not acting in your best interest. And if you have a problem with that, like you could take it up with us, you could take it up with the courts. Like we're holding ourselves to that standard, and we're only hiring people who would do that as well, and it's worked wonders for our community.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We've run out of time, and we know that we're the last session, so we don't want to keep you. Thank you all so much for staying with us today.
Thank you for having
Appreciate it.